Going to life is perfect when it's just aqua.
Hey, Rhinestoners. Welcome back. This is episode 23 of Rhinestone. And it's a Friday. So
Back on
happy.
our schedule.
Oh man, I'm so happy it's Friday. It's been a long week. It's been a
It's
long
so
week.
hot.
It's
It's
so hot here too.
so hot.
But see, I win because it is hot, just as hot here as it is where you are, but plus humidity.
Yeah, no, I
So it's a different thing. I win because it's literally like you could cut it with a knife right
I
now.
know.
Okay?
I know.
So,
I
but
know.
no, I know. I honestly it is getting kind of scary. I don't
No.
understand how people can be climate deniers. Like
I know.
like I honestly think we're all just gonna burn to death someday. That's my new
Probably,
theory. Like I
probably.
just because think
Hey,
about it.
wait. Hold on though.
Some of these temperature levels are just not sustainable. Like there was a study that came out recently of like what it does to our bodies. And I can't remember all of the scientific and, whatever technical terms, but essentially like there is a threshold for the human body of like the heat that we can withstand. And like we are getting very close to that in a lot of parts of the world,
Oh,
actually.
oh yes.
So, you
Okay,
know,
two things. One,
ooh, keep bumping my
obviously,
setup.
obviously where I live, right? You're in and you're out a lot during the summer because you're barbecuing, whatever. The flies fight to come inside in a way that is apocalyptic. It's like they know their time is nigh and they're
Yeah.
like, give me to air conditioning. I don't even care if you're going to kill me once I'm inside. I
We're like,
can't live
please,
like this.
please.
But then the second thing I was going to mention too was like, I did read something recently though, and this is where I need to do more research into climate change. And I'm not even being funny when I say that
Yeah.
because do you remember when we were growing up and it was like the ozone layer, the ozone layer?
Yeah, of
Well, the
course.
ozone layer like healed itself.
Yeah.
So I'm also like, well, then what's going on? Because then I
Well,
need to know more because I don't
yeah.
understand. I lack understanding.
Oh, well, and then there's also too, like I hear the argument as well of like, oh, we go through cycles. This is a
Correct.
cycle, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, some of those cycles ended in extinction for everyone.
Well,
Okay.
that's the
So
thing.
like, what
What
cycles,
sent the
what
meteor?
cycles are we talking about?
Right. Like,
Some of
what
them
attracted
wiped
that
out
meteor?
all of Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do think that like this is where I'm like, okay, either humanity as we know it is gone or we're living underground. Like the only thing I can think of, that's sometimes what freaks me out as someone who like hates air conditioning but loves to be cool, obviously. Like, is that it's gonna be a world where you're just living in air conditioned, like controlled spaces all the time. That's my biggest
Um,
fear.
okay, hold on. That just reminded me. Deep cut. Rhinestoners, if you're looking for a movie to that like probably a lot of you haven't seen and a lot of you have seen, Blast from the Past, Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone, 1999, where he lives in an underground bunker.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
You said that
Such a
and it
good one.
immediately dawned on me. I was like, yeah, that's what it would be like. It would
Oh,
just life, but under it wouldn't. It would never.
I love Brendan Fraser.
I
I
know.
really do. He's
They
amazing.
really chased him out of Hollywood.
But
His
yeah,
sons
it's getting
are gorgeous, by the way.
what?
If you've never seen Brendan Fraser's sons,
I didn't know
they're
he
like
had
cut
kids.
from stone.
Okay, I have to look.
You have to look. It's crazy. Go
I
on.
know some of the celebs really do have
They
very
do.
attractive offspring, I would say. Sort of depends.
Oh, like, did you see Amy Adams show up on the red carpet with her girl that is the spitting
No.
image of ScarJo?
No, I did not see that.
Oh,
Okay, I have to look that up. I did see
yeah.
her on Kelly and Mark. I saw her interview, which was kind of
Yeah.
cute. Her
She's been
daughter's
doing
what,
the
like
rounds.
16?
Yep. And
Yeah.
it was kind of like a debut. You could tell,
Yeah, of course.
even like on the carpet, you could tell she was protective.
Well, I do feel like this is a trend that we have been seeing with celebs lately, where there seems to be like either, like you just said, debuts or, more intentional, like it's obvious that maybe they want to go on the path of following in mom or dad's footsteps and they're kind of being selected for certain things to show up at. I think, I don't know, I keep seeing that happen where it's like, yeah, that
Well,
looks
it
like
just
more than just
John
family
Travolta.
support, you know?
Yeah. John Travolta and with his movie that he just directed. By the way, John Travolta and his movie directing, I don't know if you saw the interview about his beret.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, all the great directors that I've ever seen wore berets, and I'm acting as a great." I was like, "You know what? You've got to give it to John Travolta for that." But his daughter, I believe, is like 20,
Yeah.
and he was on the red carpet talking about his her debut in his movie that he directed, which I'm spacing. I don't know what the name is. And it was really beautiful, actually, the way that he was talking about it, because it really was like he held her back from Hollywood, and when he allowed her to go to Hollywood, he did it the way that he wanted it to
He
be.
wanted to. But
And
see,
I
this
like
is where, like, again, and Rhinestoners, you've had to, I'm pretty sure you've had to hear my long dialogue on why the Nepo conversation annoys me. But I think this is like yet another kind of reason why, okay? It's like, again, at the end of the day, how do you expect these people to grow up in households where their main exposure to work is a very unconventional type of work? You know, your parents are like either leaving to go be on set or they're like getting super dressed up all of the time to go to these
that.
events. Like it is very unconventional. And I just think that it's so weird that people kind of expect that like those kids are going to grow up and be like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. Like, what? No. What do you mean? You're going to like, and it's not just that. We know that as creatives, they surround themselves with other creatives. Like, these people
Absolutely.
grow up
You
in
yearn for it.
Hollywood. So it's just sort of like, I don't know, which
And
actually
it's
reminds me, did we talk about this Kate Hudson story that I thought was really funny? It was like a dating story of hers.
no.
I'm trying to remember now who the celebrity was. This is going to annoy me. It was someone. Oh, I remember. I saw this clip of her recently talking about like growing up in Hollywood and especially like dating and whatever. And how when she was in her 20s, like this was before she started, you know, kind of her own career path. This
Mhm.
guy that she was really into, like, invited her to this party and was like, oh, it's like, you know, Hollywood party, like, you know, kind of like telling her what to
Oh,
expect. And then they get there and he's like, oh, that's Jack Nicholson or whatever. And that Jack comes up to her and is like, hey, Katie doll, how you doing? And then the guy's just like, what? How do you know Jack Nicholson? And it's just like, but
I
it kind of
love
proves
that
my
story.
point. You know what I mean? Like, even when they're not in that line of work, right? They have exposure to their parents' network and their parents' friends. And I just think that all of that compounded is likely to steer a lot of these children into Hollywood. And the fact that we think that that's strange or like, you know, oh, you didn't earn it or like whatever. It's just like, come on. Like,
Um,
what else was going to happen?
okay, wait, I'm going to also link this too, and this will be my last on that. I watch Bon Appetit
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm eating, and they did a Emeril Lagasse. Bam! Bam! His son is 20 years old and is the executive chef of like Lagasse Chicago or
Yeah.
something. This kid, this Bon Appetit was like 25 minutes of just it. It was so delicious. He
Yeah.
was in control. He did,
Oh,
and
I love it. I have to watch this.
you have to watch it. And it was exactly what you're saying. It's like that's just simply, it's not even nepotism. It's just if you're a baker, you go into the baking business. You see the love of something and you want to do what your
Yeah.
parents have done because you.
And it's not like there aren't other options or like of course like you know or you, on the line of cooking I just watched Gordon Ramsay's Netflix show. Not all of his only one of his kids is going into culinary arts, right?
Mhm.
So
Yep,
of course you could take other paths, but I just think we need to like give it a rest with the whole like nepo
I agree.
conversation because it's
I
kind of
agree.
like, and the other reason it really annoys me, most people don't realize that the older people that they want to judge their kids are also nepo babies too. Do you get what I'm
They're
saying? Like
yours.
the older
Yours.
actors or the older like reference points that people use, most people don't actually know that those are also nepo babies as well.
Gwyneth
If you know your
Paltrow.
Hollywood history, okay, like it's not like these people just appeared out of anywhere, okay?
Laura Dern. Sorry, I keep on
On and
thinking
on and on and on,
on and on and
100%.
on and
On
on
and
and
on.
on.
Yes, sorry. We have Rhinestoners, you have to, you know, we're sorry. We know we're beating the dead horse on the Nepo conversation, but I don't care.
I
I'm not
don't.
going to stop. Okay.
I will say
But we
two.
will transition
No, yeah,
into the
yeah.
fact that this has actually been a very fun week for us from a celeb standpoint because we have one of my favorite things happening, which is when you get to the intersection of several different things, right? And this week for me is like we are at the intersection of celebrity, sports, culture,
Mm,
fashion,
mm,
okay? And and
Kylie.
and and what is bringing all of that together? The NBA finals, people.
Oh
And it's
my
not
God.
and I just want to be very clear as well because this is the distinction on the culture point. Um and some might disagree, but
Mm,
I will never change my mind on this. It is specifically because the Knicks are in the NBA finals. Okay. The NBA finals happen every year. It's not,
Agreed.
they do not create this kind of moment because someone
It's
tried
a
to
culture
argue with
moment.
me and I was like, no, I'm
No, it's
sorry.
a
I
culture moment.
refuse. This is not the same every year. You
No.
want to know why? Most years go by and I don't even think about the NBA finals. I could
Mm,
not tell you most years who's in the NBA finals.
No, no,
The
I
reason the
completely agree with
whole
that
world
sentiment.
knows is because we are having a moment, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have a lot of interesting things that have been happening here in New York specifically, both with our leadership,
Yeah.
um cultural moments that have emerged. We're having a sort of revolution of nightlife right now. We have the World Cup coming. There is
Mhm.
definitely a very unique and exciting energy happening in the city, but I think for the Knicks
Oh my
specific,
God, In the City on Bravo premiered. You just said In the City. That reminded me. I was
I
like, that's
mean,
a culture
really,
moment too.
people, it's just there's so much, okay? And I think that, with the Knicks, it is a cultural institution. I think a lot of New Yorkers see themselves in this team and from a style standpoint, right? I think that that has been sort of like it's been a style touch point. It's in the same way that the Yankees are, right? Like it's one of those labels that people all over the world will wear, right? Like repping a New York team. And of course, the Knicks have their dedicated celebrity fans. So it's been really fun for the first few games, seeing like who's been showing up courtside. I think that to be honest, like there's obviously some tried and trues that I don't really care about, but I think where we're starting to get more gossip is, you know, Timmy has been bringing Kylie for a while now, right? And so we're seeing her show up for I think I actually don't think that she went to more than one final game. I think it was just this week. But
No, she
most recent,
traveled. She traveled for one.
yes, okay, that's right. But I thought that was before the finals. I thought that was
No, I
like
think
for
that was game one. I think that was
okay.
game one in
Yeah.
wherever their Spurs are. Sorry, spacing on it.
No, no, no. And then of course we've seen Tay Tay, but most recently for game 3, we got the interaction of all interactions. Yes, we saw Kylie and Taylor hug, acknowledge each other, engage. The world is healing. The Knicks are bringing all kinds of people together.
Wait,
Okay?
wait, wait,
Like,
wait, wait.
there is so
And
much
also,
about this interaction, though, I do just want to say that is like so representative of the fact that girls are just girls. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, it doesn't matter if you're Taylor Swift. There's so much body language, so much facial stuff happening in this 30-second exchange that is just, you know, we're all the same. We're all the same.
okay, wait. I have so many things to say. Did you see Kylie hug Jordan?
No, I did not see that.
Because that, okay, I think that happened first. And it was so weird when that happened because as a girl, I know everything that hug is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like you're excited, you're guarded,
yeah.
you're sad,
Like
it's
bitter,
only a
bitter.
hug. Yes, like you know that like that hug isn't gonna be the because all these people on TikTok are like, oh, they're gonna be friends again. It's like they're not
No.
gonna be friends again. That's not gonna happen. That's not what that was. And that was so bittersweet to me. And then yes, the just
I mean, I'm
oh,
sure you've seen a lot of people like took, stills of Kylie's face, and like I saw one that was like her eyes are all of our reaction, where she's like, is this really happening? But then I saw another take too where it was like, Kylie shows like all girls just want to be acknowledged, that really it was like that Kylie does this sort of move that's like, oh, is Taylor gonna, is she, oh, okay, yeah, we're going for it. We're going for it. I mean, I do think
They're so sweet. I love it so much. I
it
love
is fun that
Kyle
you get to
so
see them
much.
in those types of like that. I think again to go back to like oh the
Yeah.
intersection. It's bringing all these things together, and it's also giving you these kind of unique windows into celebrities that we wouldn't normally see. Truthfully, right? Like sitting courtside at a game, having to like get up, exit together. It's a very closed kind of environment, right? Like when they're at the Oscars or something like that, we're not watching them all exit together, right? But like the nature of a basketball game or a sporting event, it's like there's no choice. They're kind of crammed in there, right? And then especially in a moment where, you know, the team wins and it's exciting and people are like don't want to leave, right? Like you get so much out of that. So, I think it's been fun. I I
Okay.
also thought it was funny that people pointed out that Taylor was basically sitting there like with all of her ops though around her because
The
I
Sydney
don't know if
Sweeney
you
of
saw
it
that
all.
also like
Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney and Scooter Braun were like 3 rows behind her.
Yes.
Which, man, I do feel bad for these celebs though, because they are being picked apart every which way, having actually shown up to these
No.
games.
I
With Sydney Sweeney
know.
and Scooter Braun, I saw that there was criticism that she had lost her courtside seats or something because of him. And then
And
apparently she's had to come out and say that she basically sacrificed so that he could be there with his brothers and his father, which then there's videos of them all together as a
yeah,
group, right?
yes,
But I'm
yes.
just like, this is crazy. Leave them alone. What's the big deal? They're in row three. Like, this is insane that we're shaming them for not being courtside.
People really flipped on the Sydney Sweeney after that
I
whole
mean,
Abercrombie thing.
wow.
I mean, okay, wait. I will say this though. Let us never forget that Taylor Swift is a master marketer.
Yeah,
And it is no mystery to me that this woman drops her Toy Story debut, and then suddenly we're seeing her courtside at the Knicks like
yeah,
2 days after the single comes out. I
of course.
definitely think that she's in the hunt for an Oscar. I'm sure she wants an EGOT in her lifetime. This is a
Yeah.
perfect way to try to get it, right? And the Eminem way. So I see you, Taylor. I see you, and I like it. But yes,
Well, is that a good segue then to talk about the shirts? But this is what I mean.
these fuck ass shirts.
This is another thing that like it just gives so much, right? Like we wouldn't have these little, you know, moments. You and I did talk a little bit about this the other day. Or I think just our general curiosity around how the shirts came together because we will get to our opinions in a minute. It's not positive. And then I sent you that yeah, so apparently one of the which by the way, have we decided how we say it? Is it HAIM?
I've always said Haim. I
I've
don't
said
like
HAIM because
that.
if you say it the other way, it's kind of weird,
Him.
right? Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes me think of like, okay, so we're gonna go
I
with
don't
HAIM.
like that.
Um, but we're probably wrong on
We're
that. We should
probably
look
wrong.
it up.
I would argue we're probably wrong.
Anyways, one of those sisters, okay, apparently, like as a hobby, likes to make t-shirts when her friends come over. This is what she told Vogue. Okay. So she made the t-shirts herself, which we could all see. I
We,
think that was very, very, very apparent.
bitch,
Uh,
we know.
I'm sorry. I am gonna hate on it simply because I am always a fan of people trying to do something in that vein, right? I will just say, like,
I love that you're gonna give her that you're a fan of her trying to do something.
I'm just saying, I support the initiative, okay? Respect for trying.
Said I love that she tried to do something.
Well, I just mean like what my point being, I am not like opposed to showing up to MSG as well in matching t-shirts.
I think
The
I agree.
I'm not judging the act of matching t-shirts. I would participate in matching t-shirts, Rhinestoners, just to be very clear, okay? So I'm not hating on that.
And we have
And
in Vegas.
and I mean in high school, honestly, like my high school years, for some reason we all started making t-shirts of our social cliques. You know, and I was PYTs.
Okay.
So
And if you don't, and I really think that we should focus on this for a minute because if nothing else, what it just shows us is that Michael Jackson is forever. You know, it was
forever.
relevant then,
Timeless.
relevant now. He's got the number one
100%.
song,
I
you
still
know?
have that shirt somewhere. I really should break it out. I mean, I doubt it probably would like fit my arm, but you know.
Nicole made me a Nay and her Bays t-shirt for my bachelorette party, and if you don't think that we rolled up
Oh yeah. That was clever. And that was like
courtside,
that Bay was very popular that year. So I
it
was
was. And it was really good when you lose drunk white girls. It's really helpful to have matching shirts. Okay.
100%. So we are not above a matching shirt. I am gonna judge you on your approach, your messaging. And I just don't get it. I like what were we doing? Like it felt like one of those ideas that happened when they were probably high and they just like they came up with two of them and then it was like okay, now we don't know. So like yes, okay. You want to do some clever wordplay with Knicks. Fair enough. That means you have to actually have the word Nick in all of your iterations, okay? Nicole Kidman. There's no Nick in Nicole Kidman, okay? I'm a Nicole. I don't like to be called Nick, all right?
Is that a common, I don't know any
I
Nick
just would
for
have
Nicole's.
appreciated either like coming up with something else, I think, that had Nick in it, or just something more clever than that concept altogether. So I'm sorry. It
Okay.
was odd to me. I
It's
thought they all
also
looked odd.
it's also like this is sometimes, right, beating the allegations of the songwriter stuff. It's like if you're gonna do that, then do that and commit. And I would say too, like I can't believe that ChatGPT wasn't able to come up with better stuff than that.
But that's the other thing that's insane. Like all together, you're all songwriters.
That's what that's what you do.
Like
You're
even
wordsmiths.
it doesn't make any sense. Well, first of all, I mean, I'm
Oh.
sure it'll come out soon. Or Taylor would be like, "Well, I didn't write them. It was her. She was."
Oh, well, totally. No, absolutely. Can I ask you a
That'll be the
question
next
though?
thing.
Have you ever been on the HAIM train? Like, has that ever been a band for you
Yes, I'm the
beyond
one that
one
discovered them for
song?
our family. I like to say discover for our family, Rhinestoners, because Danae and I and our mother share music all the time,
Constantly.
very, very fluidly,
Yeah.
right? And I think we all have a certain sense of pride over the artists and the acts that we have introduced to
And
the
finding things first. Very,
family and finding things first. And I'm pretty sure I found them first.
oh, totally.
Yeah, I think I sent them to you guys first.
I absolutely agree
Well,
with that.
no, I mean, I don't know. I have not really continued to follow them. I feel like sometimes one of their songs will surface up to me that I really like. Like I every year around this time can't not play that song, I'm Your Summer Girl. I
Yeah.
love that song. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just that just
Yeah.
it makes me feel like I'm like in California or on a beach somewhere or
Sure. Certain
it gets
artists are
me in
for
the
that.
mood. Yeah. And I thought they were interesting when they first came out because there was like, if I remember correctly, when they first started to really make it, there was a lot of like guy acts that were popular.
Absolutely.
So I kind of just remember being happy that there was like some women
Absolutely.
back again.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're an interesting. So yeah, the t-shirts now. What did you think of Timmy and Kylie and their matching chrome heart looks?
I said this to you offline the other day, and I'll mention it here because I did think that I had a fantastic point, which was you've got
So
to
like
give,
I said something amazing the other day, so y'all need to hear it
let
now.
me quote myself. The fact that Timmy almost got booed out of the Oscars and then picks up his chrome hearts off of the concrete and just puts it back on and
Yeah.
marches his way through MSG and and has a really good time being a celebrity. He has a really good time being gifted those seats. He has a really
Yeah.
good time being a millionaire. Thank you. I love it so much. There's Kylie walking through the tunnel through the Knicks girl parade and doing a twirl
I
as Timmy is like,
they're having the best yeah. I
okay,
it's hard to hate on it. Like that's the thing I'll give for all of them. Taylor, Mariska, they're
enjoying it.
having a good time. And I will say if we're all going to be forced to watch celebrities courtside who didn't pay for these seats, who some of which are not really even Knicks fans, at least they are going to give us something back,
Yes,
in
yes,
terms of energy, in terms of excitement, in terms
yes,
of again, 15 minutes worth of a podcast episode.
yes,
Okay. So
yes.
thank you. Keep giving us. We can't, we need it. And I actually, it would be nice if some of this could somehow like translate to another cultural or sporting event.
I know. Can we
Right.
move them all over and get them interested in something else?
I did see someone
The
say
same
like
group?
Taylor is just going around blowing up each sport. I saw
That's
some
what I'm
tweets
saying.
and
I
it
love
was
it.
like she's at the NFL, then she was at the NHL, now she's here.
She's just, I
They were
kind
like,
of
can we?
love
I think
it.
someone said, can we get her to baseball next or something like that? And I
Yes.
think they did go to a baseball game. They went to a Yankees
Do
game.
you know what would be really funny and actually clever? And Timmy, you can have this one. Blow up Broadway.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like
like
go
be
like
like,
Jacob Elordi, Kendall, Kylie, Timmy, they all show up to the premiere of like something and just blow it up. And
or something like off Broadway. That would be funny.
yeah, go to
That
the
would,
West End in London or something, something off, 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 you know?
yeah. Well, I'll be curious to see who is out for this away game now. And if we get some more celebrity moments,
I'm
hopefully we
sorry, this
will.
is like so low-hanging fruit and doesn't mean anything, but like to wrap it up on the Knicks, Ben Stiller, for example, like being gifted those seats. They obviously invite him to the things that happen hours before, the press conferences, whatever. And it to just put a bow on enjoying your celebrity. There's all of these videos of him. He's there 3 hours early. And I just love
Yeah.
that. It's like he's actually taking advantage and like really enjoying it. And I just think there's something lovely about that type of marketing because that's all marketing too. It's
No,
all
100%. I think they're getting the value, let's just say all, the value exchange is there at least,
yes.
right?
We're not naive. We
Yeah.
know what's going
But
on,
but
but you're
no, and
doing
it's
it
also
well.
being like made good on. That's my point, right? It's
I
not
agree.
like it doesn't feel like it's like here's a bunch of free tickets to complete duds that are going to sit there and provide no entertainment value. It's like
And
the people they've got rolling up in there, they are huge stars that have personality, are going to get into the game, are going to create a viral moment for you,
yep,
and that's the thing. Like Kylie's not going as crazy as Timmy is courtside, but she still created one of the biggest viral moments just by interacting with Taylor Swift.
absolutely.
So
And I will say too, even like, sorry, this goes really deep, but even into brand shit, I want to say it's a Coach bag. It's probably not, but Jordan in this freaking Coach bag. Like this is a whole
yes,
nother thing that blew up on TikTok too.
I
So it's like,
know.
well, now you can proliferate this into like that bag is going to blow up next week on market, you know? So it's just stupid or the dupe of it, you know? So anyway.
Yeah. Well, this was also a very big week because we have officially concluded. Well, actually, have we? Because it looks like we're getting an aftermath episode. But we've officially concluded the Summer House reunions.
How do
And
we feel?
I,
What do
I
you think? What do
okay,
you
so
honestly think?
what I honestly think is I and truthfully, like I can't believe I'm saying this. I still am just so shocked by this. That's
Mhm.
what I felt watching episode 3. We talked a little bit that episode 2 was like a little bit boring. It was a little
It was.
lackluster, right?
Yeah.
This one obviously did bring it home. And I think there were a lot of very, very interesting things that happened that we'll get into. But I do feel like as we were going through it, I did kind of just have this feeling again and again of like, I can't believe this. I just can't believe this. I just can't believe this. And it's not even like the weird thing is it's like it's not even necessarily because of the Sierra factor necessarily specifically because you and I have talked about this, like I obviously of course it's like really messed up that Amanda has done this to a friend and I I I have always struggled with the fact that I personally do not feel like Sierra and Wes were in a meaningful relationship. Like I think a lot of times when people talk about like you can't date your friend's exes, like I think most people in their minds mean like people that you have been in a serious relationship
Okay.
with, like you've spent time together out with like,
Yeah.
I'm not discounting that Sierra and West did that, but like I don't feel like we ever publicly saw them as a
We
couple.
did that.
So I think that's where like I've struggled with some of that. I think this episode brought home for me, and I think I understand why, this is like the lesser issue, but it brought home for me like how painful this has probably been for Kyle, right? I think that's what episode 3 was for me. It was just kind of like for the first time in the reunion, focusing a little bit more, or at least creating the space for us to sort of understand like what it must be like for his side of things,
Right.
Because,
Right.
and again, it's not to discount the Sierra side of it, but like, I do think that's where like we are sort of forgetting. We're talking about as far as Kyle and Amanda, we're talking about a 10-year marriage, right? Sierra and Wes were like a short-term thing, you know?
Well, oh, 4-year marriage, 10-year relationship, just because people will come at us in the comments for that.
Yes. Okay. Thank
Sorry.
you for the clarification. We appreciate that. We do want to be accurate, Rhinestoned.
Yeah, you don't even watch the show if you don't,
But the
literally
point is, they've been together a long time, right? And
very long time.
and they're actually married. And so I think that was, I just was, I guess, happy that we were able to sort of, you know, see a little bit more of that. Now, to get into some of the meat of it, because there were some things that I thought were truly, truly, truly shocking. And there was so much in this episode that came through that was unsaid, meaning like so much being communicated through body language, through Amanda's faces, through
On
things like
it.
that. But I
Mhm.
think like the kind of general highlight for me, and there's a couple of extensions out from this point, but the general highlight of the episode is just that, like, can you imagine what it must be like in that moment to have been Amanda and to have found out that the woman that you have had to have conversations with your boyfriend about, and like he's had to reassure you and basically talk you off the ledge, that woman has spoken directly to your ex-husband and to Sierra, because that was my favorite part of the episode. You could see Amanda's, like, the wheels were finally turning, and she was having the realization of like, oh my God, they've spoken to her and I have not.
Already started.
And that was never explicitly said, Rhinestoners, in the episode, but it was said. I would bet money on me being right about this. Okay. She's never talked to Mayha. She has not. There is no way, because in her side of things, having to address that with Wes, no guy is like, well, here, talk to the girl.
Sure.
Right? So I know for sure that Amanda has not talked to her, and watching her have to realize that Sierra and Kyle have like spoken to this woman, highlight of the episode. Honestly, they could have just packaged that up and I would have been fine. That gave me everything I needed to know.
It's already started.
It's just, honestly.
You're building a relationship once again on the foundation of dishonesty. Congratulations, Amanda. And that's what Mia was saying when she was like, it is embarrassing back in episode 1, or it was episode 2. It's like, no, this is embarrassing for you, Amanda. And I will say that I'm not saying anything new, but the one thing that I just agree with more than anything is West will be okay from this. West works at Complex. Complex has paid for and aired, West Goes Dating. He dated the Hawk Tuah girl on a YouTube channel, right? He has a podcast. He already has the only thing Amanda had was Kyle and Summer House. What do you got now, girl? So now what happens after West? What show are you're gonna be on the city talking to who? Who are you gonna be on the city with? I just think that she detonated. And another thing too, I'm not trying to be this person because I don't believe in like just do it in the dark, because everything does come to the light. But honestly, we are only in like June of 2026. I honestly think that her and Wes could have hit it till now. Like this, I think they should have just cooked it in the oven a little bit longer to make sure that this was something worth blowing up every future brand deal.
I don't think they could have kept denying what they were doing, though. That's the problem. I think
the video too.
I think the only way that they could have like extended, or what you're saying, is if they had stopped seeing each other. They're like, I don't think they could have continued to do what they were doing, because I think people would have continued to submit. That is what happened. Like, I do think that there should have been
they got smoked out.
I think we should have focused a little bit more on that. Amanda did admit as much, but I think we should have talked about that a little bit more, in that like this situation did kind of force them to do something that they probably didn't want to do. And I'm not like making an excuse for them, but I do think that like it is true. Like that's where I think there's a disconnect, truthfully, in terms of how Sierra is sort of talking to her about it. It's like, I think everyone is kind of looking at them like, why didn't you guys have a plan? Why didn't whatever, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yes, were they being stupid? Sure. But they basically didn't think it was going to come to that. And
Right.
and if you put things in that context, then their behavior actually is not that odd.
And
Because
that's why the announcement was
who
odd.
would put a statement out about the fact that they're hooking up with somebody?
It,
Like that, because that has been clarified. I mean, the reality is like Wes admitted we were not monogamous, or at least he was not monogamous till post the statement. Okay. So no one, I think, in their right mind would put out a statement when you are just, and that's why the statement read so effing weird, because they weren't even monogamous as of the statement. So, I think like,
okay, wait. Okay, wait. This is my question to you though. Last episode, it came out that we are to believe pre-statement, no sex. Do you believe it?
I do, because I don't think that there's a reason for them to lie about it at this
Okay.
point. Like the damage is done. Like this whole thing is not going to get unwound based off of when they had sex and when they didn't have sex.
Okay.
So I actually do sort of believe that, because I just feel like you've already made such a mess. Do those details really matter?
Okay.
And I think
Okay.
it kind of comes back to this whole thing too of like, when the other cast members are getting angry about what was happening over the summer, like even they were forced to sort of clarify that they believe it was an emotional affair, right?
Correct.
At one point. And so I think even with that, I don't necessarily believe that they were like running off to hook up. Now, what I do believe is that they're lying about the timeline post filming,
Yes.
meaning like saying that it didn't happen until March, and then the whole like, they want to get into the whole Super Bowl thing. Some of that stuff I think is true. I think that
I agree.
I definitely think they had kind of started up physical stuff sooner
Okay.
than what people are saying.
Okay.
Um, the other thing that I found to just be like, to me, this is like really the only other kind of like big moment that I was just like gobsmacked, because it was like, I was almost frustrated that I hadn't really thought about it in that way before. But Kyle's whole like speech was brutal to listen to, truthfully.
Yeah.
And I think there was like, it was obvious that he's still in love with her. Like that to me was very clear. Um, but I think I was really just like kind of taken aback by the fact that like up until this point, we haven't really dug in on the timing and the dynamics of like when all of this occurred. And
hmm
so what I thought was really interesting is getting that clarification on how it all started.
hmm hmm
And that essentially Wes did come to Amanda and say something first.
Yeah.
And I am not saying any of this to excuse Amanda's behavior or her accountability in the situation, but I do agree with what Kyle was saying.
hmm
I think that we also should have spent more time in the reunion talking about the fact that Wes was well aware of Amanda's emotional and mental state. And you actually are seeing that in the city episodes. When Sierra and Wes and Amanda go out, like she's at that
She's just
point updating both of them as friends on the state of her marriage and like the things
right.
that she's considering doing, right?
Yeah.
So he literally knows the marriage from Amanda's side. And then he's also still friends with Kyle and having conversations with Kyle. And so he knows it from Kyle's side.
Yeah.
And I think that's where like that is where for anyone who like wants to have that debate about like, is Wes a bad person? Like for me, I'm like, that to me is what tips it into yes.
He
Because
got her at her most
her
vulnerable spot.
most vulnerable state. And again, it doesn't like excuse Amanda, but I just wish that we had focused a little bit more on the fact that like that is predator behavior. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And like and there
Uh-huh.
was the one thing in particular that really gave me chills was the bit when Kyle was saying how he's isolated her.
hmm
How, she's coming out of this divorce, she's trying to figure herself out. To your point, like how is she going to make money? We're not even talking
hmm
about that. And she now is like an outsider
Right.
from any kind of support system that she actually did have
Right.
via Sierra, via Mia, via her ex-husband, actually, weirdly supporting her through the divorce, like, And now she's cut off from all of that. That particular line, I was just like, whoa. Like,
Also,
why didn't we lead with this as the conversation of like, it's kind of diabolical what he has done in that sense. And it's like, I am frustrated that because we live under the patriarchy, I do feel like collectively more of the fault and the blame has fallen on Amanda. And like anytime someone gets asked, you know, who do you think is more at fault in this situation? Everyone always says Amanda. And I think that listening to kind of Kyle give his perspective is why we all should have probably been way more focused on Wes.
two things on this too. And I'm not trying to shame physically. That's not my goal here, but I'm just talking in general. I also do think it's like crazy how he is not the perfect specimen of a man physically, and he's also not a perfect specimen of a man emotionally. We have not seen from West in the seasons that we've known West for
Yeah.
him to be this like amazing, empathetic, really like morally grounded person. That's not who West is.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like that mystifies me as well, that you're doing this also for a man that, I'm sorry, he's not a 10 out of 10 on either side, right? And not that it would have been better if it was someone hot, but it's also like, I don't know, I guess I could maybe see, the 6'5" glorious man looming down on you and telling you he can
Okay.
sweep
But
you up.
to go there, this is also where going back to the fact that they were sort of forced to formalize what was a hookup situation.
That's true too.
I think we also do have to kind of like acknowledge that whether or not we as viewers see it, we now have multiple Bravo celebrities saying that Wes is some like amazing sex god. Okay. Mia is on Southern Hospitality getting caught in her own lie, saying that she didn't tell Sally to try him out. Okay, this is like, I know we weren't going to talk about Southern Hospitality, but final reunion episode, Mia gets kind of like, they basically want her to admit that she slept with Wes, but she's like, yeah, I've already admitted that. What's the big deal? But then there was some other thing that they were saying that she said. She's like, oh, I didn't say that. Oh, that she said to Sally, try him out. And she's like, I didn't say that. And Leva goes, I was there when you said that to Sally.
That's such a mess.
Okay.
That's why love is there.
And Leva, because Leva's the only one that can shut it down. Like,
Yeah.
So that means Sally has slept with Wes. Mia has slept with
Yeah.
like the list
Dora.
is long, people. And
Dora.
the fact that Mia is recommending Sally try him out, that is like not something you say unless, and so I mean it's also funny. I've been having this debate with my boyfriend, and he's convinced that it's just because all of these women have never had good sex anyways. And so that Wes is somehow like, and I'm like, I don't know. It seems like Sally has had.
Well, Sally has. That's why.
And
That's why
me
she
too.
had to
What
try
are
it
we
out.
talking about? So
Sally
I'm
would
just saying,
know.
even though it's hard for you and I to see, like there is evidence to support the fact
There's Riz.
that Wes is very good in bed. And so this is why I'm bringing this up. We know that Amanda has been in a sex-starved marriage.
Yeah.
And if we do go back to some of the things that she was saying during this season, and if you just detach it from Wes or from the concept of knowing that that's what's going to happen, a lot of what she's actually saying is like, she's excited to get out there again. She's excited to have a little fling again. She's saying things that like are what you would normally say when you're getting out of a long-term relationship. She wanted to get effed. She wanted some fun. And so I do just think that like,
well, she spent her whole 20s in this miserable pit of Kyle. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yes. So I'm just saying, like, sure, maybe now they've kind of been forced and now are maybe more serious than even they were initially. I don't know. But like, if I had to guess, like, I think the initial thing was probably a very like physical thing. And yes, it is rooted in emotional stuff because they have known each other, right? But I think that like, and I'm not trying to like excuse Amanda in this. I just think it's interesting to break down like the psychology of it. And I think psychology wise, she's coming out like, I want to have sex. This is someone that I feel safe enough to do that with.
Yeah.
And the attraction is there. Like, it's just not that crazy to me that this happened. I just think what's crazy is the way they handled it. And also, like, why couldn't they have just hooked up and had that be it? That's the other thing. If she was looking to just, like, have safe sex, like, have something with Wes, come to Sierra, be like, I had a vulnerable moment. Nothing's going on, but and I'm sorry, and I haven't had sex in 4 years. I'm sorry. Like
I can believe.
it still would have ended the friendship, but it wouldn't be what this is.
I think also too, the one thing that I will say about like the Sierra and the Amanda of it all, listen, if anyone has been watching Summer House as we have, we know that's always been a periphery relationship anyway. The relationship always was between Amanda and Paige and Sierra and Paige.
Yeah.
And then yes, did Amanda and Sierra get close? Of course. Did then they even get closer when Paige left? Out of utility, they did. Also, we know these women to not be very receptive to new women, even call it mean girls, whatever. I don't know about the mean girls part, but you can very clearly see on camera that it's not like Sierra is taking Dara under her wing. Okay.
Yeah.
So, to your point about just who they feel safe with, they feel safe with each other because they already know each other's demons.
Yeah,
They
totally.
know the drugs they've done. They know where the bodies are buried. So I also think we as viewers when people are so shocked by what Amanda has done, I think Amanda was just probably thinking like, I don't know, I'm not that close to Sierra anyway. I know it looks like I am, but like I don't really care. And I do think that that's what we're seeing
Yeah.
on camera. We're just seeing a bit the blaseness, beta blockers, Xanax, whatever it is, fine.
Yeah, they
It's
didn't show
also
any remorse to your
she
point.
doesn't
Like
care.
there's no remorse. There's
You
no
don't care. That's
and
all
again,
it is.
that's the thing I think to vilify them for, right? Is like in some
Is
ways it's this response more than anything,
there you
right?
go.
It's the lack of kind of concern for how it's affected other people, the lack of
You didn't
thought of how
care.
it was going to affect other people. It's just I don't know. I think what's sad is that, we'll see what happens, but you and I talked about this when the rumors started to unfold. Like, I just don't really know where they go from here in terms of the show. And like it it, it is really sad. Like with Vanderpump, it ended the show, right? Like that was the
So
end.
ominous that Tom came in. I did see those clips on TikTok of Tom Schwartz coming in last season and he's hovering over the girls and he's like, this is so important. Don't lose this. I lost this and we lost everything. And he's like
Yeah.
warning the bed bugs and
Yeah.
literally cut to the next season. That's what they've done. Okay. And this
So
is the
I'm
only
just
thing I want
saying,
to
like,
say.
if we look at precedent, like, there is nowhere to go from here. So
That's okay.
and that's where I'm just like, I don't really, like, I guess you could remove Amanda and Wes from the situation altogether. You come back, they're just not there. But then it's like, is Kyle there? I don't
Why is
know.
Kyle there? Is Carl there? Why is Carl there?
I
This
just,
is this
yeah,
is maybe a really good segue into the city. I don't know if we're going to segue into the city, but this is, and I don't want to get like stuck on this. But even within the city and Lindsay, because I know we were talking about that offline, this is where I am getting a little like, okay, let me make my point. Ramona,
singer.
okay,
Yeah,
Stanger, had money before she came on Bravo.
yeah,
Then she divorced her husband and got even more money.
yeah,
Okay. And then she made all of her Bravo money. And I guess, like, not to focus so much of the money on it, money part of it, but that's really where my brain has been in this scandal over the last couple of weeks is like, these people just aren't thinking long term about
no,
what Bravo is and what this opportunity is and what it isn't and how to move. And I do, and I guess maybe more if I'm looking at like the Southern hospitality people, right? I fear for them because I look at someone like Joe, and Joe thinks that he can go to Leva, stomp his feet, and get a tom tom. And it's like, Joe, you're not famous.
yeah,
No one knows you, Joe. Like
yeah,
maybe you feel famous where you are in this
in
one
the for
tiny,
sure.
right? But like that's not translating at all into brand deals, into notoriety. And like I don't foresee Joe in his 35th year suddenly becoming this cultural icon,
Yeah,
right? Like I think time's already up for Joe. And
yeah.
so I wonder what these people are thinking long term.
Well,
Like
some of them are I mean, look, Lindsay's a
some of
perfect
them are.
example.
Some of them
Lindsay's
are.
apartment is insane. Lindsay has clearly focused this opportunity like
And
in an
buying
amazing way.
property.
She's getting brand deals. She's using that to get real estate. Like
Yes.
And you can tell like that episode when they all came to her apartment and they were like, whoa, like
Whoa.
it is whoa, you know, like she's doing very well for herself.
And
And I
she
think
had
there's
money
others too,
before.
like Craig with Sewing Down South. Like there are a lot of them that have kind of successfully channeled it into something. But then to your point, there's like the Austins of the world, you know, that just like, you
What
know,
are you
Shep doesn't
doing?
do anything because he doesn't need the money. I think Austin doesn't really do it because he doesn't need the money either. I think that's the other thing. Some of it is like generational wealth as well. But I
Mailbox
hear
money.
you. There's definitely a lot of them that I don't think are being thoughtful about some of that. I was going to say on the city though, because I was thinking this when you were mentioning Lindsay. I feel like, you know, we're both watching in the city. I think the feeling I'm starting to have just going back to like the if Summer House is going to continue and all of that, right? It's like even with the in the city now, I just don't feel like any of these people are interesting enough for us to be seeing them as much as we're seeing them right
Oh.
now. And I think that's kind of the problem. It's like if you take out the Amanda and the Wes scandal, what would the Summer House reunion really have been about?
Mhm.
We would have had one moment, which we already
Jesse
had,
and
which was like
Sierra.
Carl and Lindsay's conversation.
Right.
There would have been like the Jesse and Sierra thing, which isn't that interesting because it wasn't anything.
It wasn't
It was
anything.
just a blip and a fizzle. Okay.
Yep.
We barely even had Lindsay during the actual season, anyways. We would have Kyle and Amanda's marriage that, like, you know, dissolving and like some of that stuff, which
Which was
again
miserable to
has only
watch.
been made more interesting because of the West stuff. Truth be told,
Yes.
probably would not be that interesting. Like that's another thing. Think about too. Remove the Amanda and West stuff. All of the stuff that we're seeing with Kyle and Amanda's marriage, we as viewers would not have been into it. It just would have been more of Kyle like berating her, which is the same stuff that we've seen, right? Like we all just would have been like, oh God, we have to keep watching this.
That season would have gone so differently for Kyle. Oh
So
my
if
God,
you just
he's
think about it in that way, I just feel like these people aren't really giving us that much outside of the off chance that they had this like scandal happen,
well,
right?
okay,
And
let's
now
go to In
we've
the
pulled them,
City.
but now we've pulled them onto In the City and we've surrounded them with people that truthfully are even less interesting than they are. Like, and I think that's the other thing I'm struggling with. Like, I want to like In the City because I like anything filmed in New York. I love seeing, and they're also all my age range. So, you know, you're curious to see like, okay, how are other New Yorkers living and where do they spend their time and all of that. But it's like it is very bizarre to me that like the producers were like, yeah, put these people on a show.
Well, okay,
Like
here's
none of
another
them are
thing.
that interesting.
I also think we are in a space with, hear me out on this. We are in a space in reality TV where the only reality TV that is good reality TV is conflict television.
Yes.
And I think that that is something where it's like editors, writers, showrunners, if you want to make reality TV last, the real challenge is to how to capture joy
Yeah.
and make joy interesting. I would argue back in the day, not so much now. The Kardashians were great at that, right? They, the whole it was like maybe a little bit of, before things got dark, okay? Back in the day, it was like a tiny bit of conflict. Maybe Scott did something, and then the whole episode was just joy, spending money, Vegas, this, that, fly to Miami, you know? So it was really fun to watch,
Yeah.
okay? And I think that that's what we're getting. It's like on the city, I have to watch. I'm on the valley where the women have begged their husbands previously for the babies and now successfully have them and are miserable. Cut to, I have to now watch the city where the babies don't exist and the women are begging for them.
Well, and you and I were going to touch on this. I think it was New York Mag. There's an article that came out that basically sort of highlighted that, you know, a couple of these Bravo shows now are reaching this point of it's not sort of like the fun, youthful, like energy, like, you know, we're excited about our lives vibe that it was when we started some of these franchises. Now it's more of like midlife crisis, existential dread, right? And I think we're seeing both of that on the Valley. And then also, of course, Summer House with the scandal this year. And it is getting you know, it's been an ongoing conversation you and I have been having, right? Of like, on the one hand, it's sort of interesting to have grown up with these people and then have, you know, their struggles reflected back to you that are similar to other struggles that we all face at this point in life, right? So in some ways, it is interesting because you're like, okay, well, they're having babies, they're settling down, they're having breakups, they're having divorces. It's all the same stuff that you kind of see happening around you. But I think the point of the article was kind of like, it's getting dark,
Well,
right?
also, I'm sorry.
And is that and is that the entertainment that people want, right? Or is that what people expect from these types of shows?
And not only is it getting dark, but I'm sorry, the red thread theme through all of them is women begging something of men. That is the
Begging
red
something of
thread
men
theme of
only
all of them.
only to see it then like given to someone else or so did you watch this week's episode of The Valley?
Yes, yes.
I am really like, and this goes to the point of like, do we want to be watching this stuff? I'm actually really enjoying, but then also very disheartened by all of the Jesse and Michelle scenes.
Yeah.
It is
Oh,
so
my.
sad. Like
Oh,
it's
it's so dark.
really, really,
It's so dark.
it's really sad. And, you know, it is interesting because I do think in some ways, I don't know if Jesse has actually grown or if he just got hip to the fact that like he
He
was not
needed to.
coming across great on camera because now I do feel like he does and says almost the exact like perfect thing. I thought when he asked Michelle up on the roof, he was like gonna say some crass comment about her turning the ring into a necklace. The fact that he was like there to basically like find out whether or not her emotional vulnerability was real. Like I was just like, so he's invested in
He
knowing
can't
if
let it
she
go.
still cares,
He can't let it
right?
go.
And then even the way he kind of handled it, like once, you know, she got upset and whatever, and he was just like, oh, it's, you know, maybe it's okay. Maybe you just are where I was and why. I was just like, who is this guy?
He
But
can't
like,
go. It's
it was
processing the whole
so
marriage 2 years post-divorce.
it was so heartbreaking when she was saying, you never treated me like that.
And he
You
can't even
never kissed,
say
and
anything.
he
He's
could
just
not
like,
say shit. Okay. And I think it's like that to your point too, like that is becoming a theme as well, where it's like we then have to watch these men go off and like do everything correctly the next time. With the next, you know, Leanne Rhymes is about to join Beverly Hills Housewives. Okay. Like Eddie Cibrian couldn't get it together with Lee. Like it's just what
it's so dark. I do think there's this, and I'm not saying that like Bravo is trolling women, but I also, it has occurred to me lately that it's like this is show to show, Southern Charm to whatever. It really is just about these men basically embarrassing their women. And it doesn't matter if you're the situationship, the girlfriend, the wife, right? We're seeing it with Rula. I
yeah.
mean, this man signed up to be on camera having an active affair. I, it's like, so you just don't respect the mother of your children, or you aren't thinking about the
Or
fact that your
worse, I
children
think some
watch
of them get off
this.
on this. That's what I think. I
That's what I think
in his
too.
situation, I think he gets off on it. I think
I
he
think it's like so much resentment.
well, it's also like it's like a humiliation kink,
Yes.
right? Like I think he like enjoys making her look stupid.
Yep. Because he
And
owns her.
it's also like, look at me. I'm gonna put like flout this in your face and you're not going anywhere.
Right, exactly. He owns her. He got her exactly.
It's a control thing.
What is she gonna do? She's gonna divorce him and do what?
Nothing.
No. What does Rula do? I don't, that's a whole nother thing. I don't even, that whole cast, I'm like, they need to, I like Rhode Island, but we need to think about the cast. Anyway, what do we got?
Yeah, I did kind of skip over Rhode Island. I This week's episode I thought was interesting, in that I just cannot believe that Alicia didn't tell Rula sooner. She looked so dumb.
I know. I couldn't believe that either. It's like Alicia's just standing there. Like, okay.
I just, yeah. Well, okay, so before we close out though, I do want to touch just briefly on the Valley this week because
Uh,
there were just like a couple of interesting like tidbits, okay?
Go wait. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. Please remember your tidbits. Before we do that, Brittany sitting on that couch with that neon pink lipstick and her tuxedo shirt. What is, and her face, like,
She should be suing Jax for reparations or something. I'm sorry. He took a beautiful, not, well, I never thought she was like stunning, okay? But she was definitely a cute girl and he just
zapped every
After.
ounce of glitter from it's scary. Okay, go ahead. Two
I
points.
think that like a couple of interesting things. I think no one is surprised that Britney's relationship ended. I think that
Kinda.
it should be a lesson though to all women. And yeah, I don't get like care if I get shamed for saying this, but I do think you need to think about these things sometimes. I support women wanting to do whatever they want to do with their bodies. If you want to go get mommy makeovers, go get mommy makeovers, do all of that. Okay.
Love it.
But
Love
at
it.
the same time, I would put money on the fact that he bailed after seeing her in recovery. I I
100%.
I 100% think that he saw those ball sacks, as she
Oh yeah,
calls them, and was like,
I'm
"See
out.
ya
This is
later.
gross. He's a man after
See you
all.
later." Okay? That's the only thing where I'm just like, okay. Like, and I'm sorry. Maybe I'm a terrible person for saying this. I don't know if I was in a new relationship with a guy. Sorry, Peacock. Why is this not? Sorry. Peacock. Peacock. I don't know if I was in a new relationship with a guy and he got a surgery of that level and I was looking at his bodily fluids. I'm not sure how I would feel either. Like, I just feel like I think that to have the expectation of like, oh, can you come take care of me sounds like fine on the surface. And that's probably why he was like, sure, I can do that. And then I think the reality set in very quickly.
I
Very,
completely
very
agree. She should
quickly.
have hired a nurse.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I
Sorry.
think
If
that
you
was
really are a millionaire, like he said, because I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that he came out on a tweet and was like, she paid me to be there. Why wouldn't I have showed up? Of course I was there. He's saying that he's getting like a bad edit, that he was there, that he picked up the things because
yeah,
she paid.
right. Yeah,
And
right.
and he was like, if a millionaire offered to pay you, and I was like, oh, now we're calling her a millionaire. I was like, interesting. But to his point, or to the whole point, yeah, ick,
Ick.
ick.
And then, since we already talked about the Jesse and Michelle thing, the other thing I want to say, which I do think we've brought up before, but I have to be honest, like the fact that it is persisting into this season is really, really annoying to me. I do not think that production is handling this Danny and Nia situation correctly. It is very
Right.
frustrating and confusing as a viewer to sort out what is actually going on. And on the one hand, I guess you could say like, oh, well, that keeps us like interested. No, it's starting to get really hard because what to me it is feeling like is that we as a viewer are not being given the full picture.
Yes.
Because I definitely have like Lala has always been someone for me who's like a controversial figure, right?
Yeah.
Like she calls it like it is. Sometimes I agree with Lala, sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think she's spot on, sometimes I think she's dead wrong, okay? So that being said, the people that we're seeing kind of continue to take issue with Danny and Nia are people that in certain pockets we trust as
Yeah.
viewers, right? They're not necessarily like crazy out there characters, okay, who are not reliable in their feelings, okay? This isn't like it's just Zach, okay, against or something like that, right? Like these are credible people. And the fact that we have other credible people, credible-ish, but more in terms of like because we have history with them. The fact that we have the Kristen Doties, okay? The fact that we have like even Jesse to a certain extent saying like, "Hey guys, let's lay off." It's very, very confusing, and I feel like because it is once again becoming one of the main conflicts of this season, again, I guess they cannot figure out anything else to do but have a Danny and Nia storyline. If we are going to persist with this being the main storyline, then we need to be given the full picture.
Yeah.
Because if we go to Tom Schwartz's party, like it does feel like Lala is being a dick by looking and acting as if Danny's not allowed to have a martini.
Right.
Like he's an adult at a Bond party and everyone else is having martinis and we're looking at him as if like the second he takes a sip of this martini he's going to turn into the Incredible Hulk and kill everyone. Like
Right.
that's the vibe that we're kind of giving in that moment. And for me there's a huge disconnect of like what is making Lala so uncomfortable that this guy's not allowed to have a drink at a cocktail party,
I
right?
completely agree with
And
you.
so I just feel frustrated because I just feel confused. I don't know what to believe.
Well,
You know?
okay, I'm
I'm like,
sorry, and I am not
what is the
defending
truth of the story here?
not defending Danny either. Do not think I'm defending Danny, but to your exact point, last episode, he's drinking off camera or he's trying to sneak drinks. And then the narrative was, well, why is he trying to sneak drinks? And it's like, well, because in this episode, when he wasn't trying to sneak the drink, Lala is blowing a gasket.
Yes,
So
100%. So you would, and that is
what
like
is
to
he
your
supposed to
point,
do?
you would understand where someone would start like that's the vicious cycle, right?
Right.
They're saying like, oh, he's sneaking drinks, that's suspicious because if you're hiding drinks, that means you're an alcoholic. But it's like, yes, but he seems to be hiding drinks because you guys make
Are
it
making a
very
deal
big
about the
issue
drinks.
anytime, which is exactly what anyone else would do. I'm sorry. Like,
I agree.
so I think production needs to be stepping in here a little bit more because again, I was very hopeful that we would have multiple storylines this season. We're clearly not. I mean, maybe it looks like the whole Kristen and Luke thing is going to come back into the picture. But like, I don't care about what's going on with Janet and what's his face. Doesn't matter. The Jesse and Michelle thing is only interesting when they have actual interactions, which they're having less and less of because they're getting
Because of
divorced,
Lacey.
right?
Yes.
I could care less about Jasmine and her wedding. I'm sorry, I'm not invested in her. I
Jasmine.
never have been.
No.
So I mean, honestly, I'm like right now, the most interested I've been is like in Zach. Weirdly,
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? And
Oh,
then
totally.
Tom Schwartz, just to see like him bumbling along, trying to host a party for the first time at 45. You know, like. But outside of that, we're getting Danny and Nia very clearly again as the central storyline. Fine. I'm bored, but fine. Help me make sense of it, production. Help me figure out what is what here because it is very, very, very unclear. And it's just weird. I think it's actually making for like not great television.
Well, okay, and I'm sorry.
Like
and
them getting all sorry, last thing. Perfect example. Having to watch Kristen Doty come upstairs so fired up because of a completely different thing happen. Like that wasn't fun to watch. You know what I mean? Like they're up here like solving it and kumbayaing it, and then downstairs they're having a heated art. Like it's way too central to all of the conversations happening between them in a way that is like it's very odd. We're talking about the Valley each week because I am sort of like endlessly fascinated by it right now, but I also just feel like we need to be getting to the quick of the Danny and Mia situation if it's going to be like a continued storyline.
And I think we're
like we have
hanging on to
unreliable, not narrators, but like,
yes.
you know,
No, they are.
Yeah.
No. I didn't realize Nia had like pageantry background to such a degree.
Oh
and
yeah,
like
she was. No, I thought she was literally like Miss America or something.
I didn't clock that. When that came in about like, oh, she's leaving to judge or got a judge, I was like,
no, they explained. Yeah, they went through that season 1. Like
I
like,
missed that. I must have missed the episode where that was heavily covered because now
that's crucial. That's like crucial. It's core to her entire persona. That's why.
And I didn't, I guess because I knew that she had pageantry. I just didn't know it was to that level.
Yeah.
And then now I'm realizing why Bravo is hanging on so hard to her, right? Because that is quite a get of like someone who's a part of such a different world. Anyway,
100%. They are known, I think, in certain circles.
They are. She has that pedigree already.
100%. So
okay.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. But those were my. I don't know. Good for Tom Schwartz. He threw a good party, but I do think that we need more clarity. That's what I like. Yeah. Well, Rhinestoners, that is another episode. This was a fun one, and we're gonna have so much to talk about next week because more NBA finals, whatever this Summer House aftermath thing is. To see when that's scheduled.
But let's also talk about Kyle's People magazine interview.
Oh, yes, I do want to talk about that.
What is he doing? I kind of love it.
No idea. I know. I think I said this last week, but the tweet that still cracks me up the most is someone was like, if you had told me that we'd be getting Kyle in the divorce. It's just so true.
Okay. I am going to
like no one thought that this is how this was all going to.
Did you see Kyle doing these Elvis Presley stage side kisses?
Yes, he's loving being single. He's like, I'm single now.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Kyle with the kissing. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, no, he's into it. Yeah,
he's like grabbing faces.
He's like, I'm gonna enjoy this.
He's like licking his lips before. I'm like, ooh, he's really gonna give it to her.
Okay. He's like, I'm free and clear.
I suddenly got the Kyle appeal. I was like, oh.
he honestly got the best deal out of everyone. Like, even though he's all like distraught, I know that there's a part of him that's also like, wow. Because I just saw a clip today too that Loverboy is
Oh yeah.
back now because
Mhm.
people like rushed to support.
Mhm.
So he got like the sweetest deal out of anyone in all of this.
Mhm.
Because to your point, had the West thing not happened and they were just going through the motions of their divorce, he would be getting so much shit for kissing these women. People would be like, he's not even divorced yet, whatever. And now because of the Amanda situation, no one cares. It was like, you do you, Kyle. Have fun. You enjoy it.
Kyle Instagram 2 days ago, sitting on a couch. It's an ad for Meta. I'm like, make your money, baby.
Yeah,
You
do it.
a
He's
100 grand min. You know, I'm like, I love it for
while
him.
Amanda spits into West's mouth in Italy, he's gonna pull in some actual coin.
I like it.
The difference.
I like it so much. Okay.
Love you, sissy.
Okay.
See you next week.
Bye,
Bye,
Rhinestoners.
Rhinestoners.